Welcome to Pack the Rock podcast with the Hoosier Network. Thank you all for joining us. I'm your host, William Stewart. To my left, the Rook, Ian Plaskoff, and across from us, Ava Wegenke and Nick Rodecap. And should we just tear the Band-Aid off? The regular season's over, so there's a competition in this room that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Fair dues. I mean, I was a touchdown away with 8 minutes to go from jumping the regular season title, but credit to you, Ava. That was impressive.
You know who wasn't a touchdown away from a perfect 8-pointer? Me.
She nailed it.
Took me 12 weeks, but I nailed it on the head.
It took all of us 12 weeks to even get one, though.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us even had one.
I said 63-3, and there were 8 minutes left. Indiana had the football, and Ava and I were sitting next to each other in the press box. It was very tense.
It was very tense.
And we went down to the field. It did not go the way I hoped it would, so oh well.
You know what's even worse? Is I was watching the episode back just to check everyone's score, and Ava said her score, and I was going to say that.
Now,
I would have had it.
There is.
You could. It's on film.
There is.
On film. I said it.
Hypothetically,
No, it's not hypothetical.
There's no sound to back it up, but you
No.
could.
It's on the episode with sound.
No. I'm saying
Oh.
with the episode that doesn't have the sound, you could read lips here. But Ava did not say 56-3 in the
She didn't
first
change her
recording.
mind.
Vegas changed, I changed.
That was her reasoning too.
Yeah.
Stuck to her guns.
I hate losing, so this is good for the brand. This is good for the company.
Yeah.
I even told
It's
Ian
good
that.
for the company.
I told Ian that. I was like, I can't lose. I can't do it.
What's the company name? Wegenke LLC.
Sure.
All right. Good
There
for
you
the
go.
program.
All right.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Ava. Wins the score predict. Are we doing one in the postseason?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I won
But
the
does it-
regular season title.
Do we reset the scores
I was
now?
going
Yes,
to
we
say
reset the
we
score.
have to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ava wins the regular season. She clinched the.
I went undefeated in my first season.
She clinched the Big Ten Pack the Rock podcast score prediction
Title. Yep.
Conference title, and now comes playoffs, the tournament we'll call it.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was going to lead with, but
Do I get a first round bye?
No.
you don't get a first round bye.
Actually, with the level of competition that you played, you're not making the playoff because strength of schedule is everything. And even though there were some losses, you cannot be
I only
in.
had one loss, and I still remained number one.
Oh, but
We're going to talk quality
but
losses.
4
here,
loss
isn't it,
Nick Rodecap is in the playoff because of the quality of opponents that he
I
played.
over doubled his points.
Yeah, and it resets once you. It's like the IHSAA. Everybody gets into the playoffs. Once you get there, it starts over.
We're going to start making up more stats and metrics to keep other teams out of the playoff, and then those teams are going to lead in those stats.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, where does
Thank you,
that sound
strength of
familiar?
record. Thank you,
know.
ESPN, morons.
At any rate,
Oh, man.
to quote Kurt Signetti on this past week, Purdue sucks, so does Michigan, and maybe or maybe not State. But that's where we are right now. Michigan and Purdue did indeed suck last week.
Yes.
I would concur with that statement.
Yeah.
Purdue was, I would say, worse than Michigan, specifically because they only scored 3 points in the 56-3 win that Indiana had over Purdue.
Is anybody surprised by that?
No.
No. Okay.
Obviously, Ava wasn't.
No, I knew it.
She actually wrote
Friday,
the
I
script.
had that
Although I got the
one
3
line.
right.
Hey,
Selfishly,
I almost had it.
I want Purdue to be like a little bit good. That way, the bucket game isn't. I'm not going to say blowouts are boring, but if it's going to be freezing cold every year for the bucket game in the Signetti era, then can Purdue at least not be terrible to make it a little bit worthwhile? Because
I'm sure you're not the only one in the state of Indiana asking, can they not be terrible?
getting outscored 122-3 in 2 years. I mean, jeez.
Not great, Jim.
Yeah. Purdue fans, they want Mike Bobinski fired. That athletic director, he's so gone. I don't know how he's still employed, to be honest, because he's terrible.
There's been a lot of shifting in college football over the past week, especially in the Big Ten lately. But
Yeah. Including Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline, who just took the USF job. So, is he going to coach the playoff? Does anybody know?
no.
They haven't
There
said
were reports
anything.
from On3, the Pete Nakos, I don't know how to say his last
I
name.
think it's
Pete,
Nakos.
steal your information, Nakos.
Pete-
Sure.
He said Hartline was expected to coach Ohio State throughout the playoff, but if he does not, it'll be the tight end coach.
That makes
This
sense.
is weird. There are potentially going to be 5 at least 5 teams in the playoff that either don't have or have a head coach out the door, a coordinator at the door, both coordinators at the door, or are in the prospect of that.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Well, I mean, not to mention there's the
whole
team that lost a head coach. There was that whole debacle. If you're unfamiliar,
That is
Lane
one of the
Kiffin
5, yes.
going to LSU and leaving Ole Miss high and dry, which
Hartline is expected to coach Ohio State.
there you go. I can't believe it. The Lane Kiffin thing was ridiculous.
The dog wasn't his the whole time. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Poor Juice.
Juice Kiffin, not even a Kiffin. Honorary Kiffin?
Nope. We don't do DEI last names in this household. Sorry. Lane Kiffin, you mean to tell me the guy who has a reputation as a snake, a backstabber, and a liar snaked another school? Wow!
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Only done that 3 other times.
It's like putting your hand on a hot stove and being surprised when it hurts.
Yeah, but is
man,
LSU
wow.
arguably the better job?
I don't care if it's the better
Yeah.
job. You do not leave a school in the midst of its best regular season ever or with a chance to win a national championship to go to one of that school's most hated rivals while the season is still going on.
No, apparently you do.
And then demand to coach
And
your
then say,
previous team.
Yeah, what was it?
Yeah,
It was
that was crazy.
Was
that
it
part.
Scott Van Pelt who's like that's like
Yeah,
Was
I
it
know where
like-
you're going.
yeah.
The neighbor analogy.
yeah.
This SVP went on because he was talking to Reese Davis and it was
Yeah.
like, if my wife went and cheated on me with the neighbor and then said she wants to stay with us through Christmas because it's for the kids, I'm
Pack your
saying get the hell out of
bags.
my house.
Get out.
Right.
Yeah. This is such a joke.
I put a tweet out earlier this week that upset many people in the southeastern region of the United States, specifically in Mississippi,
Ain't that something?
saying that Indiana leadership has to feel wonderful about how the Signetti process worked, and that they were like, hey, do you want to stay? Yep. 8 years done, 48 hours later, and he gets back to coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And all the replies were like, well, Lane Kiffin didn't want to stay. That's the whole point of the tweet.
Ian, let me teach you a little bit of something about critical thinking in the year of our Lord 2025. Critical thinking requires nuance and a wider point of view than most people are willing to utilize in this day and age. So when they see something, it's not, oh, wow, that's cool for the parties involved. It's, how can I perceive this as a slight upon something that I care about? In that case, it's, this is a tweet about Indiana head coach Curt Signetti not being involved in a coaching circus. Let's make it about Lane Kiffin because I'm mad. That's basically what it was.
Yeah. This tweet had 8.1 thousand likes, 462,000 views. I'm looking at some of the replies now. Like, in reference to Signetti, LSU didn't want him, just to point out a fact. Well, thanks for the notice.
We never said Signetti was wanted by LSU or anybody.
Boiler Burner 1 says, dude will be in a
Boiler
nursing
Burner.
home in 8 years, in reference to Curt Signetti.
Yeah, and Barry Odom's probably
Interesting.
going to be fired in 2 years. What's your point?
Yeah, here's more. LSU wasn't calling him. Kiffin, with all due respect, the SEC means more.
Uh-huh. Is that why
Sure.
they've had 0 teams appear in a national championship in the last 2 years? Also known as ever since NIL was allowed to marinate, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Ain't that something? Making paying players legal took away the SEC's advantage. Wow. Why did Nick Saban retire when he did? Almost like his advantage was gone. Wow. Crazy. I really hope IU plays an SEC team or 2 in the playoff. Give me Texas A&M. Give me Bama. Give me
at the
Ole Miss.
moment, you know what? Let's
Bama
just-
may
At
not
the
even make
moment,
it.
it's
Because
possible.
I am so tired of them.
well,
SEC folks. I'm tired of them.
let's just go take a gander at the college football playoff bracket. Why don't we?
Let's do it.
The 1 seed is, the Ohio State University reigning undefeated champion. Also undefeated, not reigning any champions, but Indiana's their number 2, which that means they will play the 7 or the 10 seed, which consists of 1 SEC school in Texas A&M and 1 independent school in Notre Dame. So you've got 2 options here. You get a rematch, or you get an 11-1 football team that you could argue should be in the top 4.
Both
and
solid options.
somehow is 7.
I'm not big on Texas A&M personally, but sure.
Yeah. I know I like to say that if I had wheels, I'd be a bicycle. I feel like a lot of people would view Texas A&M very differently if South Carolina hadn't imploded because I know woulda, coulda, shoulda. South Carolina should have won that game. I know they didn't. I know Texas A&M came back. I know they staged a crazy comeback. But if Texas A&M is 10-2 with a loss to South Carolina, I feel like we're looking at them very differently than, oh, they're 11-1. Just ignore the fact that they imploded against Texas.
Yeah, and you'd probably do the same thing with Indiana if they lost to Penn State. You could play the same game with either team.
Yeah, but the difference is Penn State didn't collapse. It's just that Fernando Mendoza made plays.
Oh, you mean in the game?
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were just talking about on the season.
No,
The
no,
team
no,
just
no,
totally
no.
collapsed.
No. In that particular game. Because when Indiana played Penn State, yeah, Penn State was in the middle of a very bad season because of the head coaching change and whatnot. But it's not like all their players suddenly became terrible. Penn State still had really talented players this season, even if James Franklin got fired. Like Denai Dennis Sutton, that edge rusher. He looked like a serial killer. It was scary.
He did.
That was scary. Nicholas Singleton, great first name, by the way. In my opinion, the best. He ran all over Indiana because he's going to be playing in the NFL. It's not like they suddenly became terrible because James Franklin got fired. That's not how that works.
Still, yeah, 40 NFL players in the roster.
Yeah, those guys will be playing on Sundays for a long
And looking back at the rest of the bracket, it's Ohio State, Indiana 1-2, another Big Ten team. Oregon is at number 5, and that's all the Big Ten representation in here. Otherwise, it's Georgia and Texas Tech, the 3 and the 4. 6 is Ole Miss, head coachless Ole Miss. 8 and 9 is Oklahoma and Alabama, who will play the 1 seed, which
Yuck.
is
Those teams are both not good.
Coughing baby versus nuclear bomb.
You mean whoever wins that game versus Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be an interesting one.
What happened to John Mateer?
He had surgery on his throwing hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be what happened.
They did surgery on a grape.
What?
I'm sorry.
Sure, okay. Sure.
All right.
I don't think any of us were perfect.
Was that too deep of a pull?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay,
they
yeah,
did.
that goes back too far, I
Have
guess.
you never seen surgery on a grape?
You're going to
No.
learn.
Oh,
You're going to
man.
learn. We're going to learn you
now we
today.
got to
How do you not know?
That's from like...
I don't know a lot of things.
That's like pre-COVID internet.
Is it?
I think so. Well, let me
Alright.
look it up.
We'll
Let me
pull
look
it up. We'll pull it up later.
historic times pre-COVID, there was
When did it become a thing? Yeah, it was 2018. Yeah, pre-COVID.
Oh, it's that.
AKA,
There's
Yeah.
a video. It's,
AKA that would have been Michael Penix's freshman year, to give you some perspective.
Now Ian's currently looking it up. Anyways, back to the actual football topic. Should we even cover the stats of the Indiana-Purdue game since we've
Sure,
just breezed
why
by
not?
it?
I mean, it was-
We'll go
Yeah.
over it. We'll take a glance. The 56-3 victory led Indiana to their first undefeated season in program history, and they retain the Old Oaken Bucket. It's the 34th win in the 100th Old Oaken Bucket game for Indiana. Heisman Mendoza was 8 of 15 for 117 yards with 2 touchdowns. He still leads the candidacy odds. He's plus 120 in first place. He's also the first overall pick favorite at $1.65. He is first in the country in passing touchdowns with 32. Also set the IU single-season record versus Wisconsin. He's second in the country in passer rating with a 183.7 to 1 Julian Sayin. Elijah Surratt was back for the first time in a few weeks, 3 for 41 and a touchdown. Omar Cooper, 3 for 64 and a touchdown, both tied 5th in the nation with 11 touchdowns on the year. The IU rushing attack was the entire reason Indiana won this game, and they showed up for the first time in a few weeks, had 37 carries for 355 yards. Roman Hemby went 12 for 152 with a touchdown. Most of those yards in that score coming off an 82-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Kalon Black was 13 of 66 for 2 touchdowns. Indiana's offense is now second in the nation in points per game at 44.5 and 5th in the nation in yards per game at just over 480 yards per game. The defense was obviously stellar, only allowing 3 points, had 1 sack and 10 TFLs on the day. Stephen Daly with 4.5 of those tackles for loss himself. Amari Farrell with the early interception. The defense, second in the nation in points per game allowed, second to only Ohio State, and 4th in the nation in yards per game allowed at just over 250. Not a bad day for the Indiana team as a whole, huh?
No. It was a home game, basically, in West Lafayette. I mean,
Yeah, some blackout that was.
Mostly just red in that stadium.
Yeah, wear black to your funeral, Purdue.
You sucks. You sucks.
Whatever. They're gonna chant it when they play School for the Blind next September. Oh, we got them, didn't we? And then Sig's probably gonna beat them 52-0 again.
I think I've had my head in my hands for half of this episode, and we're only all of 15 minutes in.
Yeah, get used to it.
Yeah, we're coming off a week off, so we got to
Expect the unexpected.
No
It's a Big
Black
Ten
Friday
championship.
pack the rock. I mean, you gotta make up for lost time, right?
There's no Black Friday deals in this podcast room. We don't work on Black Friday deals.
I'll give you these hands for free. How's that?
Again, my head is in my hands. We're just all over the place.
what were we talking about? Oh, yes, the
Indiana
crowd.
being good on Friday.
Yeah, lots of red. By the maybe the third quarter, after halftime, the Purdue student section was maybe 600 people.
Yeah.
You counted?
Roughly, actually.
I just saw
We
a lot
did.
of
No,
of
we did
folks.
count.
You counted them?
We did count.
We counted rows, estimating how
We tried
many
to.
people were in each row.
Yeah, it started with we wanted to figure out how much their student section could actually fit. And then it turned into this tells you like the state of the game. Ian and I were counting student section stand rows. But,
Yeah.
was a blast.
And then we started counting actual people, and 150, 200 maybe.
By the end of the
By
game.
the
Lot
end.
of folks
It-
dressed
it
as
was
bleachers
600
here at Ross Age
probably for
Stadium.
the fourth
By the
quarter.
end, yeah.
This reminds me of like freshman year. I was calling a baseball game with Kevin Vera. It was Indiana versus St. Louis, I think. No, Indiana
Baseball?
State. Indiana
No.
State. And it was like a cold, rainy night. We were outside. We were stuck out there, and it was a
Yep.
blowout. And we counted every person in the stands. There were 47 people.
Nice.
Anyways,
Did Indiana State win that game?
no.
Oh.
Anyways.
Indiana or Purdue student section looked a little bit like that. Purdue crowd looked like that. When we were going down in the stands to get on the field after the game, I didn't see many Purdue people. And shout out the
Shocker.
Purdue security guards on the field for not letting us in after the game, even though that's what our credentials said
Seriously?
could happen. And shout out to Matt Weaver and Jeff Rabjohns for sternly telling them that we need to get down there.
They didn't let you onto the field.
No.
Wow. Given what Purdue does to IU visiting media at any game we cover, I'm not surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, baseball 2 years ago, we're trying to interview Jeff Mercer in front of the Indiana dugout, and Purdue's got an all-natural grass field, so they take their leaf blowers and they're trying to blow the dirt from the grass back onto the base pads in the middle of the interview. And the Indiana SID walks over to him and says, "Hey, could you guys, just wait a little minute to do that? Because we're trying to do this interview here." The guy says, "Okay," and then he turns around, he turns his leaf blower back on. Yeah. That was after Purdue had just collapsed on back-to-back days against Indiana to blow the series and basically blow their chance at the NCAA tournament.
This reminds me, when we were waiting as Jeff Rabjohns and Matt Weaver were yelling at the security people to get on the field.
Shout out
Yeah.
Rabby and
We were
Matt,
standing
though.
in the aisle of the stands, and I heard my name yelled out,
Ooh.
and I had no idea who it was, and it was some woman, and I looked down, and she's like, "Hey, I love your podcast. I listen to it every week." So if you're listening, shout out to you. I don't know your name, but that was awesome.
So we call motion.
Yes, so we appreciate that. That's happened a few times, actually. So we
Really?
Yeah.
We appreciate the listeners, the viewers.
appreciate the in public shout outs.
Yeah, I was not expecting to have my name shouted out by someone I don't know, so that was cool.
Meanwhile, Ava was bundled up and looked like she was part of the Eskimos. She
Ava
probably
was
couldn't tell
standing
who she was.
3 rows behind me, stressing
Oh.
over whether Indiana would score or not
I
again.
was stressing over my 8-pointer.
Oh my
Correct.
I
god!
feel like you were
But I
stressing
was-
over FanDuel, too.
I was
Wasn't a parlay or something.
I have never participated in sports betting in my life. Let that
Disclaimer.
Keep it
Rest
that
right
way.
here, right now.
Keep it that way.
Disclaimer. Yeah, it was really cold, but I came prepared. I had my earmuffs, my scarf, my jacket. I was warm. I was very warm. It was great.
I was not.
You know who was not warm? Fernando Mendoza. He did struggle with passing that ball in the cold, let me tell you.
You mean
8
to
for
tell
15
me?
would tell you that,
You mean to
yeah.
tell me a Miami kid struggled in sub-freezing temperatures?
Correct.
I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in that right now. I'm sure the New York Jets are probably disappointed. But on behalf of every football fan, please, I hope the Jets do not get the chance to draft Fernando Mendoza because they will ruin him. Secondly, the good thing for Fernando Mendoza this year is that every environment he plays in for the rest of the year is either Pasadena, California, or climate controlled. It's going to be in a dome.
Or Miami.
Or Miami, which is
How terrible!
I think he's a little bit used to Miami. So the weather's not going to be a problem for him going forward. I will say, though, it's a good thing the bucket game wasn't played on Saturday because then it would have been played in the snow.
Oh, that would have been
I-65
What if I would have preferred that? Not gonna lie.
I-65 was a disaster.
I heard.
So I'm not talking about even the game itself. I'm talking about getting there. Like,
Yeah,
I'd rather
that's
get up to
right.
West Lafayette and then leave as fast as possible and get out in one piece.
As you would on any day.
As
But
I would
yes.
on any day, because the best thing to do in West Lafayette is leave. I have never seen the sun there.
He said that to
Never.
me a few times.
Never seen it. Nope.
Oh, last thing on Purdue for me. So we talk. I didn't get to see the raised grass patches in person on Friday, as much as I hate them. But
You don't. You hate him. You don't say.
I got some.
I got to my seat in the press box, and I have
Oh,
my room of my desk area, and usually you put your laptop right in the middle of your desk, about like on both latitude and longitude.
Some would say like how you have it right now, where
Yeah.
it's just sitting there.
Correct. There it is. I put my laptop on my desk in the middle, but there was a slight interruption. There was a raised cord feeder thing. There was a hole through the desk, and they put a raised cord feeder in the middle of my desk area. So when I set my laptop down, it would just wobble all over the place. So Purdue, thanks for raising things that don't need to be raised.
Hell of a job.
First
for a
the grass
school that's-
patches, and then this. So at least you painted your end zone the right color this time.
They did do that.
You know, good on the school that churns out engineers for not knowing how to set up a desk properly. I tip my hat to them for that, because when I think Purdue can't blow me away, they find new ways to. Wow, I didn't know that was possible.
I will say, getting around town in the dark for the first time was also not the easiest thing in the world. It was very because you get off the highway and then because I was coming in from the I guess it's not from the north because I came in off 65 and then something else, and it's two one-ways that split off, and there's no like direct signage of which way you're supposed to go, and I'm just like,
Did you go the right way?
yeah. Well,
That was your
what's even
first-
better is it's a turn lane into someone's house. Then there's the road you're supposed to go to get to the east side of the stadium. Then there's another road where you can take. I don't know where that one goes. So it was, very well engineered, as Nick said.
That was your first time in West Lafayette?
It was.
Oh, first impression.
I hope it's your last, because that place sucks.
It was obviously pitch black out, so I couldn't really see much.
It's probably a good thing.
They had a media shuttle, so that was nice. Although it took forever, not forever, but I had to go find the parking lot because they didn't really give you directions. They're just like, here's 4 roads, and it's over near these roads. So I just turned on
luck.
one of them and ended up finding there's a high school that I found. And I'm like, I assume this is where everyone's parking at. There's a bunch of cars. And
Was it? It wouldn't be Lafayette Jeff, home of Noah Gurkey.
Shout out Gurk AI, my goat.
I have no idea. I don't know what the high school was.
Gork, is this true?
But it was they were very hostile to me. You guys obviously had different issues, but some raised issues. Literally.
My favorite thing is that all the credential pickup did not take place in the same area. If you had field access, you had to go to a separate area
See, I
to get
didn't
your
mind
credential.
that. I think that made total sense.
I don't like it. I think if there's a place where I can pick up a credential, my credential should be there.
We waited in the tiny room where you had got redirected from because they didn't have their bag tags yet. So
Yeah.
we were there for about 15 minutes.
I don't know which is
Oh,
worse. I feel like the United Center was worse, though, because the United Center, they said the doors would open at 10, and then it was 10 o'clock, and we couldn't get inside. And it was like 15 degrees and windy.
I
It
will
was windy
say-
in the Windy City.
Fork-founded kitchen?
Purdue's press box was lovely. Purdue's press food was very tasty.
It was good.
I was gonna say I thought it was
And-
pretty hospitable. All things
And
considered.
the visiting post-game room was weird. It was like attached to the photo room.
It was pretty
odd.
nice.
It was nice, yeah.
It was nice.
Lighting was great.
Yeah, all things considered, a good experience. But stop raising things that don't need to be raised.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good synopsis. Stop
and
raising
over-engineering things.
I mean, I thought it was pretty nice. You know,
No, it was
Nick obviously doesn't care for the
most of it
town, but I
was-
thought it was pretty cool. I
The
mean, it could be
Purdue
worse.
athletic facilities are very nice. The campus is, in my opinion, less nice.
Because it has raised grass patches.
That's one reason. There are many other reasons. I'm not a big red brick everywhere guy because it looks like a military base.
We have a lot of red brick here.
2 buildings.
It's a lot, though. It feels like a lot. I don't know. Is it really only 2 buildings?
2 buildings.
The way that he just knows that.
Yeah. I had to stop and think about the fact that he just knew that off the top of his head.
It was on my tour when I came with my school in my junior year of high school.
There you go.
That'll do it. Because everything else is limestone, right?
Correct.
Correct.
See, I knew that part.
It's beautiful Indiana limestone.
Right. I drove past the limestone mine to get to Purdue. I found one of them.
There's also one
Ian
if you go
Plaskoff, big limestone guy.
if you go
not
south
a big
of
brick guy.
yeah, you go south of Bloomington, you go to Bedford. There's a giant limestone quarry down there.
What do you know?
It's pretty cool. There's a bunch of them actually. That's where like the Empire State Building and the Lincoln Memorial and half of IU's campus, all that limestone comes from.
The more
Look at
you
that.
know.
I'm learning things about
Education.
Indiana.
Anyways,
Your daily
Indiana
dose of
wallops
education
Purdue.
with
You
Pat
gonna learn
Rock.
today,
Holy
boy.
cow. Let's
It's
toss-
always a
Is that
learning
the
experience.
second lesson we've had on this podcast today?
Yeah.
There's a
and
really
we
big
haven't-
football game
there's
this
a
week
long
that we
list.
really should break down, but no, we're going to tell you where
All right,
Indiana
so
gets their
here's-
limestone for their campus.
Here's the breakdown of
Like,
Indiana, Ohio
What
State.
is going on?
I'll give you the cliff notes. Indiana against Ohio State.
I'll give you the cliff notes.
The
Like, we don't
Indiana
know a
players who
whole-
were here last year have a very bad taste in their mouths because of what happened at Ohio Stadium on November 23rd, 2024. Kurt Signetti said it wasn't a good experience. It did not feel good, but it was necessary for the growth of the team. The players learned a lot from Ohio State and Notre Dame. Signetti said that, I didn't think he would actually admit this, but Signetti said that the moment was too big for them last year. And that's what I was thinking at the time. And I wrote a column about it. And a lot of people didn't like that column. But I was right. I'm like NBA Centel. Never wrong, just early. Signetti said the moment was too big for them. This time around, they've learned a lot of lessons, even from the close games they played in this year, Iowa, Oregon, Penn State. And they feel more confident going into it this time around. And also, I think something the Ohio State fans, some of them don't realize, this Indiana team is better than they were last year. Last year, I walked into Ohio Stadium and I'm thinking, I don't know how I feel about this. But now with Indiana, I think the players and coaches and everybody alike, there's a little bit more, they're more equipped for this kind of moment than they were last year. So that's my 2 cents. I'm not going to say that Indiana's better than Ohio State. I don't know whether or not that's true. But they are certainly more evenly matched this time around.
Before we get into Ohio State, can we go? I have a little exercise proposition. Can we all go around and phonetically spell out how we think Kurt Signetti says Ohio?
You've been thinking about this for 2 days, so I think you have to go first.
Okay. Here we go. UHHAI UHH. Ohio.
That's pretty
Wait,
good.
do that again? Wait, what?
UHHAI UHH.
Like Kurt Signetti saying Ohio State.
How would you spell it?
Pretty close to the same, I think. Ohio, UHIAHH. I don't know. Or maybe a UHIUHH. Ohio.
No, fit a little IU in there. How
Yeah.
about that?
I think that's how he says it.
Ava, do you want to try?
I didn't know this was a thing, but if he
I-
says it like that,
He's always said it like that.
OHIA.
Yeah, that feels like the
Ohio.
easiest way to do it.
Interesting.
I did the UHIAH, Ohio.
Yeah.
That's just the quick. I feel like that would be the way to just Ohio with an A at the end.
So that means for all of you listening, when you inevitably hear Kurt Signetti say Ohio State for the next week over and over and over,
You can think about
you
how
can
you
think
spell
about
it.
how to spell it. I've been thinking about this since when he first said, so does Michigan and Ohio State in year one.
You've been thinking how to spell this for 2 years?
Yeah, because it's so funny. It's so Pittsburgh.
You've been thinking about this for 2 years and you've never brought this up.
No, I've brought it up many times.
Oh.
Just not here.
You brought it up
Which
to
was
me.
actually 2 years and 2 days ago was when they signed him and he did the basketball game and all that. So, fun stuff.
And we're going to do the math on how many days. It's 732 days ago.
So in 732 days, Kurt Signetti took Indiana from being 3-9 to making the Big Ten championship after a 12-0 regular season.
Not bad.
It's it's crazy because Sig comes up to Indianapolis right after he gets hired, and he tells the BTN desk crew, he's like, I figured I'd make the trip up to this stadium because we're going to be playing in this game next year. And he was only a year off. That's crazy.
And he was one game away last year.
Yeah, I wondered the butterfly effect of a combination of things: the phantom false start, the botched snap, and then the punt return touchdown at Ohio State last year. If those three things don't happen, Indiana stays in that game for a little longer. I don't know if they win, but if Indiana wins that game, they go to the Big Ten championship in year one under
And
Signetti.
they would be ranked first.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would have been too good to be true, which is why it didn't happen. But, man, they really were one game away from making that come true last year.
And now they're in it.
Yeah, when everybody thought, oh, they're going to regress. That was a fluke season. Signetti can't do it again. Then he did it again with a tougher schedule. He's like, okay, yeah, we went from 11-1 to 12-0. And then here's the crazy thing is that there's still so much ahead of him. And Signetti says, yeah, there's still more work to be done. Which I wouldn't expect him to say anything less because that's how he's always talked. But, yeah, we know where this can go. We're not focused on the end. There's some things we need to clean up. It's one thing to preach that. It's another thing for the players to buy in, and the players bought in.
What's ahead of them now is the number one team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes, 12-0, 9-0 in the Big Ten, tied first with the Indiana Hoosiers. And their offense, it's a spread offense led by a Heisman finalist, or soon-to-be Heisman finalist, Julian Sayin. He is 258 for 327 on the year for 3,000 yards. He's got 30 passing touchdowns to his name and 5 interceptions. He's only taken 6 sacks on the entire year, has the highest passer rating in the country. The running backs is led by Bo Jackson. Not actually literal Bo Jackson, but another Bo Jackson.
Lamar Bo Jackson.
That one.
That's so cool.
150 carries for 952 yards and 5 touchdowns. The team averages 4.8 yards per carry and has 24 rushing touchdowns on the year. The pass catchers, you know the obvious one, might as well be Megatron and Jeremiah Smith. 72 receptions for nearly 1,000 yards. He's got 942 and 11 touchdown receptions. Puts him at 5th in the nation in touchdown receptions. And Carnell Tate has 44 receptions, has about half the receptions of Jeremiah, but it still has almost 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. He averages 18 yards a reception, 6th in the nation among wide receivers with 40 receptions or more. And also their tight end, Max Clare, 40 receptions for 420 yards and 2 touchdowns. Seems to be the safety blanket if Julian State isn't just chucking it up to Megatron. The team averages nearly 12 yards per reception, and their offensive line is widely regarded as a top 10 to 15 unit in the nation if you don't have them ranked higher. Their defense, which scares the life out of me, I can't even lie to you. I would not want to be an offense facing them. It's kind of a 4-2-5. I was talking about this with Plaskoff yesterday.
Yeah.
There's always 4 defensive linemen down, and there's always 5 DBs. The thing is, it's just where is Arvell Reese and where is Sonny Styles?
This is a 4. We have Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and you don't kind of defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
so good.
That was the way we phrased it yesterday. So where's 0 and where's 8? You could argue the 8 jersey looks like a 0 anyways, or the 0 looks like an 8. So you just mix them up anyways. Usually Arvell Reese is on the edge, or he's somewhere down there. Sonny Styles is wherever he wants, I think. I think he just kind of plays football, and it works.
He's very good at it.
Works pretty well. The thing with the defense is the edge opposite of Arvell Reese will drop into coverage along with Arvell. And Sonny Styles will either blitz or, once again, do whatever he wants because that guy's just that good at football. Matt Patricia calls, I have written down, literally he calls freaky stunts because he does. There's guys coming from any and everywhere, and you just don't know who's going to be screaming in your quarterback's face. It's not if, it's when they end up in the backfield, which is what the case was last year too. They have the number 1 defense in points per game allowed and number 1 in yards allowed. They allow less than 210 yards per game, and they allow less than 8 points per game. It's like 7.3 or something. They have a +5 turnover margin. They've lost the ball 8 times, obviously 6 of those being Saints picks, and they've caused 13. They have 6 fumble recoveries and 7 interceptions, and that's not a joke. There it
I was
is.
waiting for
I was waiting for that to click. Yeah, this team is, you could argue, an NFL team. Probably is 22 NFL starters. Not to mention, I didn't even mention this guy. There's probably the best player in the upcoming draft. Caleb Downs is the safety.
Yeah.
And there was some they asked Fernando about him, and he said that he has to watch him every play, the same way that Tom Brady has to watch Ed Reed every play.
Hey, listen, Ohio State
There we
media.
go.
That did not mean that Fernando Mendoza compared himself to Tom Brady. Such a that makes me so mad. Because he misrepresents the quote to Caleb Downs, and then, of course, he gets Caleb Downs to laugh. I think partly because Caleb Downs kind of knew that Fernando Mendoza would never actually say that. What an idiot. Then you got people online who think, oh, wow, this Mendoza guy is going to get humbled. He never said that. He never said, I'm Tom Brady and Caleb Downs is Ed Reed. He never.
You could argue that dude's Ed Reed.
He's pretty close.
I'm going to take you down the path that you just took me. Common sense is something that's...
yeah, there's a taste of my own medicine, I guess. Look, I did earlier in the season misrepresent a quote where Curt Cignetti said that historically his teams haven't audibled much at the line of scrimmage. He said there were some times early in his James Madison tenure where maybe they'd send a couple plays in, but it depended on the situation. I misrepresented that quote. And I put my hand up and I said, that's my bad. But you know what I didn't? I did not put words in somebody else's mouth and then go to somebody else, lie about what they said, and then post the response online because I wanted clicks. That is such a stupid thing to do. And now you got Ohio State fans who actually think that Fernando Mendoza thinks that he's Tom Brady, which he has never said. It's stupid. Again, Plaskoff, you're right. Common sense and critical thinking are very hard to come by in today's day and age. But no, the closest thing that Fernando Mendoza is to Tom Brady is, well, Mendoza has said he idolizes Tom Brady.
So they play the same position.
Yeah, obviously, the greatest guy to ever play the position is going to be somebody that you want to model yourself after. That's not rocket science. But that's the only connection between them. That and they both played in the Big Ten. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, this championship's going to be one you have to watch. There's just no debate about that. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure all of you know that. You will all probably have a notification on to turn your TV on if it's not already on.
Or to turn your radio to 99.1 WIUX in Bloomington.
Or that.
Yeah.
Are you going to plug it?
Oh, yeah. Zach Browning, Andrew Hillsman, and I will have the call from Lucas Oil Stadium. Ben Haller will be on sideline. And I've actually... The last time two Big Ten teams faced off as number one versus number two, Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline was playing for the Buckeyes. It's 2006. Leading receiver leading receiver in that game, Ohio State was number one, Michigan was number two. The Buckeyes won 42-39. Ted Ginn Jr. eight receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown.
On that team.
Before, of course, he went on to play 14 seasons in the NFL. That's how long it's been. We were 2 or 3 years old since two Big Ten teams faced off as number one and number two.
This is a BCS National Championship game.
Yes, it is.
That is awesome.
This is going to be incredible.
And isn't it the first or the second ever conference championship game in any conference between 1 and 2, where the last one was like Florida in 2006?
It would have been Florida and probably, hold on.
It was 2006.
I think it was earlier than that.
I don't know who it would have been.
Would it have been Florida, Georgia? No, that was Florida, Arkansas. Sorry, so that was not it. Because Arkansas was number 8, Florida was number 4. I feel like it would have been 2007.
They're all researching it. We'll figure it out in a second.
Yeah.
I'll go back to talking about Ohio State to kill some time because they're stupidly good, and I'm still entirely scared of that team. I wouldn't want to step on the field if I was a college football athlete. The offense, it's honestly, it's not as complex as you would think because it's just so good. They don't miss assignments, and if they do, they're corrected pretty quickly. I mean...
Can I interrupt?
We figured it out.
So it was the last time, because I wrote about this in my story. The last time was number 2, number 1 Alabama, number 2 Florida, number 1 Alabama in 2009. I'm pretty sure Cignetti was an assistant.
Cignetti would have been the
Alabama.
wide receivers coach at Bama.
Yeah, put that in my story last Friday.
Which means that Julio Jones would have been on that team, right? It was 2009?
Yes.
Yeah, which means that Cignetti has experience in these kinds of games. He's compared Jeremiah Smith to Julio Jones multiple times.
Last time it was 2008, number 1 Florida, and number 1 Alabama, and number 2 Florida. So Cignetti was also on that. It
was December 5th, 2009. That's the game you're talking about.
Yep.
Which was when, Texas made the natty, or excuse me. I'm thinking, Bama blew out Florida. Florida didn't score in the second half. Then it happened again in 2011, and then 2019 LSU against Alabama. Joe Burrow and company. And LSU marched into Bryant-Denny and won by 5 points.
What a game.
Yeah. LSU team was a dog that year.
That LSU team has an argument as the best college team of all time.
Probably are.
Yep.
And
unless you argue this Ohio State team.
This Ohio State. Whichever team wins this game And okay,
I think you have to. You got to go undefeated and win the Natty.
If you're talking NFL caliber talent, this Ohio State team can maybe hold a candle. We won't be able to tell until years down the line when these guys matriculate beyond college. But this Ohio State team will probably come close to the amount of NFL players that came out of LSU in 2019. Indiana's not going to, because it'll be Mendoza, Surratt, Cooper, Carter Smith, maybe Aiden Fisher, D'Angelo Pons, and
maybe one of the running backs. I don't know.
The thing with Indiana's running backs are so old.
It's true. They could be a UDFA type thing.
I could see Kalon Black going that route.
Quinn Warren in the first round.
Nico Radicic, actually.
Yeah.
Radicic. It's hard to make it as a kicker in the NFL because if you're good, you're usually there for a long time. But the Colts need a kicker, so I figure Colts just draft Radicic and send him up by 69 because Michael Badgley stinks.
This Ohio State offense, like last year in the run game with Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, I feel like that was a lot more difficult than it is this year with Bo Jackson and C.J. Donaldson. I don't think the run game is going to be as prevalent this time around. Sure, it's great, and it's Ohio State's run game. It's always going to be good, but it doesn't seem to have the same magnitude as last year. Then on the other side of the football, I think we're going to see a lot of target Igbenusen because he is one of the most handsy defensive backs in the country. And I feel like every time I see Noah Igbenusen in coverage, there's a yellow marker on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think that will happen.
Yeah, Davison Igbenusen is usually one of the more penalized defensive backs in college football. That's been the narrative around him. Now, to his credit, he's done a better job of avoiding penalties this year. But last year was really bad. It was either defensive holding or pass interference for him. And I feel like Indiana kind of targeted him early.
They did.
Last year, the problem is once Ohio State started getting pressure on Curtis Rourke, Indiana couldn't throw the ball. So Igbenusen kind of got, the pressure taken off of him a little bit. But that's where Ohio State's front seven, or I guess front six, because they play a 4-2-5. Arvell Reese is terrifying.
Yeah.
And, of course, Sonny Styles. But it's kind of like Mikhail Kamara. I guess that's the closest comp as far as Indiana goes, in that you have a guy who's established himself as a playmaker. Indiana, it's Mikhail Kamara. Ohio State, it's Sonny Styles. And just by virtue of existing, that person makes the people around him more dangerous. Because with Mikhail Kamara, offensive lines had to focus so much on him in pass pro that you give up sacks to guys like Stephen Daly and Tyreek Tucker, Mario Landino, and Hosea Wheeler. But as far as Ohio State goes, Caden Curry is really freaking good. By the way, shout out Center Grove. Caden Curry's really good. Obviously, Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are really good. And you can't really focus too much on one of them because if you do, the other two are going to burn you. That's the depth, the talent, the spread of talent for Ohio State is ridiculous. And, you can say what you want about Ryan Day being born on third base or whatever, but the standard for them is going unbeaten. Anything less is considered a disappointment. And that you can't fluke your way into doing that year over year. And that's why Curt Cignetti said that Ryan Day is going to go down as one of the legends of this game one day. Because he is. If he keeps doing what he's doing right now. If he keeps losing assistants and somehow they keep just reloading. And that's very, very hard to do.
I want to backtrack. I said Noah Igbenusen. I confused him with another DB in the NFL of Noah Igbenogany. So
I kind of knew what you were doing there. I'm trying to look up Davison's stats. Unfortunately, college football doesn't track penalties or something because I do want to. I'm trying to. He had a few against Indiana last year because they were throwing straight at him every play. Who was on the other side of him last year?
Igbenusen last year was penalized 16 times in 16 games.
Where did you find that?
And just Pete Thamel tweeted it.
Oh,
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, let me start over.
Words are hard.
Where do these broadcast crews get those stats? Because I don't think they're publicly available.
It's got to come from the SIDs.
Yeah, but I wish that they made those, as a student broadcaster, I wish that they made those publicly available. Because it would make our our stuff better too. And I know that we're very low on the totem pole, but selfishly, it would be nice. But yeah, I think Igbinosun has only been penalized 4 or 5 times this year. I know he got flagged maybe once in the Michigan game, but he has done a much better job this time around. Yeah, he led all college football players last year with 16 penalties.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See a lot of that. I'm curious to see how the run game for Indiana goes as well. I mean, even if it doesn't go well early, they're still going to have to continue to run. I feel like last year I did not feel like Indiana had a chance. Even after that first drive, I'm like, no. This year, I think it's going to be one of the best games of all time.
Yes,
I really do.
It has that potential. Now, you could also see this going the route of like Michigan State, Ohio State in 2021. Really highly touted game late in the season. I know it wasn't the Big Ten championship game, and it was at Ohio State. Michigan State was down, 49-0 at halftime or something? It was a lot. It could go that route. Maybe Ohio State is that much better than Indiana, but I don't really see that happening because the advantage that Indiana has this year compared to last year, you think about the 2 big games, Ohio State and Notre Dame were both on the road. They were both in hostile environments. Here it's neutral, and Indiana has the advantage of Indianapolis being, where most IU fans live, if not Chicago, whereas last year it was South Bend and Columbus. And you got basketball earlier in the day. Some IU fans are probably going to go to both games because you got IU Louisville at Gainbridge, 2 o'clock, and then the nightcap at Lucas Oil. I think that's going to be a big advantage for Indiana, this game being on a neutral field.
And before we get back to Ohio State,
breaking news.
we have breaking news from Plaskoff.
The All Big Ten defense has come out, at least from Indiana football. The offense is still awaiting. But as of right now, 12:13 p.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd, here is the long list of names on the All Big Ten defense for Indiana.
Whoa.
Aiden Fisher is a first-teamer. Lewis Moore, the plaintiff, is a first-teamer.
That's a nickname
Colin
courtesy of Colin McMahon. Yeah.
D'Angelo Pons is a first-teamer. Tyreek Tucker is a first-teamer. So 4 Indiana first-team All-Big Ten defense players, Pons, Lewis Moore, Fisher, and Tyreek Tucker. Elijah Hardy, Amari Farrell are on the second team, and Bones Jones is an All-Big Ten third-teamer. Mikhail Kamara and Stephen Daly are honorable mentions as well. Lots of names.
How is Stephen Daly only an honorable mention?
That is a very good question because he leads the Big Ten in tackles for loss.
He has 18. Tatum Tuioti, Caden Curry, and there are a couple other guys are tied for second with 13.5.
Yeah.
So he's got 4.5 more TFLs than anybody, and he's an honorable mention. Huh. Well, Stephen Daly needed to get even more fired up. There you go.
Yeah.
If you needed him more.
Has the offense come out or no?
I'm looking for it. I can't
negative.
find it.
It has not come out yet. By the way, Bryant Haynes being a Broyles Award finalist again. It's 2 years in a row. Finalist for the award given to the top assistant in college football. That's something.
They better give that dude a raise.
They better give him all the clown shoes he wants to hand out to opposing fans. By the way, thanks for the follow on Twitter, Bryant Haynes. Happened a while ago, but...
Yeah, because he's totally watching Pack the Rock podcast.
Well, hey,
he has
he
to go
might.
deal with the Ohio State offense.
lots of
which
people
is
do.
more important?
Lots of people do.
Which is more important, Pack the Rock or prepping for the best team in college football?
Prepping for an NFL team would be my answer.
I don't know.
Back to the NFL team that they have to face. Looking at last year, I was trying to remember why they were targeting Davison so much because Denzel Burke was on the other side of the
That's
field.
right.
Yep.
And he is now in Cleveland.
Yeah, he's an NFL player, along with who their nickel corner, Jordan Hancock, was also in the nickel. So you threw at the one guy who wasn't NFL bound yet, who will now be NFL bound.
The names, I feel like name value has a lot to do with how good you are. Like Denzel Burke, that just sounds like somebody I wouldn't want to throw at.
Were we having this discussion before about corners? And
or
it was the ref's name. It was the hands on 6 hand. The names on 6 hand.
Yeah, the ref names.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, what corner is named Mike? And then Mike Hilton.
Hilton, yeah. Or for Ohio State, Jermaine Matthews Jr. That name just rolls off the tongue, Or as far as edge rushers go, Caden Curry, which I've been following him since he was at Center Grove because Center Grove beat Cathedral in 2021. That was a game that Destroying showed up to. And Center Grove, if I remember right, sealed it on a pooch punt from none other than now portal-bound quarterback Taven Jackson. Yeah. Call that the Mud
With
Bowl.
Tyler Cherry also in that quarterback room.
Yeah. And that game, we call it the Mud Bowl because it was played outside at Arlington Middle School on a rainy October night. Cathedral doesn't have a field, so they played, don't do it anymore. They played at a middle school stadium for a while.
Nice.
There was some pressure from Center Grove to actually move that game to Lucas Oil Stadium. And our athletic director said no, because Center Grove is used to playing on turf. It didn't work. Center Grove went on to win the 6A title that year. One of 3 that Caden Curry won in Lucas Oil Stadium. And this is the first
Notably
time.
has played in Lucas Oil before.
This is the first time that he's been back there since high school because Ohio State hasn't made the Big Ten championship game since he's been there. So Caden Curry, a little bit of a homecoming for him. He said he's going to need a lot of tickets, but very talented player. And I think it's cool. It's a shout to Indiana high school football, even if he did play at Center Grove, and Cathedral and Center Grove don't like each other.
He's a former future Hoosier.
Was he? He had to have been offered by Indiana.
Top
right?
3.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he made the right decision for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's safe to say.
Just, it probably wasn't that difficult, honestly.
My next question to you, any of you can take this because Isaiah Jones was also asked this yesterday. Is there even a weakness in the offense? If so, how do you stop it?
I mean, I feel like this could be one of those situations where you take Jeremiah. Indiana shut down Jeremiah Smith last year, and Ohio State beat him with a combination of taking advantage of.
Before we go to that, I want to say this.
Okay.
Because he talked about, there's Pose. Hello, Josh Pose. He's
Josh.
Pose.
Because Ian brought up the running backs last year and
Yeah.
how they were notably better than this year because they had 2 NFL running backs instead of 1. Indiana was obviously, or not Indiana. Ryan Day was focused on running the football. He was like, "These are guaranteed yards. I'm going to smash mouth the football. I don't have to throw the ball." Now I can't split the workload. It's only give the ball to Bo. Got to throw the ball more.
Yeah.
I think that's why they beat Michigan the way they beat Michigan this year.
Yeah.
They also have a Heisman candidate quarterback instead of Will Howard.
Yeah, Julian Sayin is miles better than Will Howard.
Such a different offense personnel-wise because of the backfield alone.
Yeah, C.J. Donaldson is the short yardage back. He averages under 4 yards a carry. Bo Jackson is at nearly 6.5 yards per carry.
Right.
And he's got over 1,000 all-purpose yards, if you add in his receiving yards as well. And he's a freaking freshman. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be.
I don't think there's a stopping Jeremiah Smith this year.
It's going to be
containing, whatever you want to call it.
It could be a scenario where Jeremiah Smith does something like what Jackson Smith and Jigba did in the Rose Bowl, where he just goes off.
Goes for 300.
I wouldn't say he's going to go for 300 yards, but he could certainly take over the game.
You have to pick your poison with D'Angelo Ponds because you can pretty much rely on him to take away half the field to some degree. You have to pick if you want him on Smith or on Tate. It's probably going to be Smith.
Because that's what it was last year.
And the question also is, how much zone coverage will Indiana be playing?
They play more zone than anybody.
Right.
Was it like 89%?
When you're playing that much zone, you have to feel pretty confident that Ohio State's going to find a way to run against that.
And also find the hole in your defense.
And also do that. Because Julian Sayin is the most efficient passer in the country.
Literally.
Didn't he broke the regular season completion percentage record?
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know.
Yeah, he broke it. It is now sitting at 78.9%.
That's ridiculous.
Jesus.
That's absurd.
You can't, sure, you have D'Angelo Ponds to take away half the field. Sure, you have a defensive line that is priding itself on stopping the run. That leaves Max Clare. That leaves Carnell Tate. That leaves more running. That leaves more passing. It's just a tough offense to stop. But also, Ohio State has not been challenged this year, in a sense, except for week 1 against Texas. But week 1, you always take with a little grain of salt. We only have seen Ohio State go against defenses that are not near what Indiana's defense is. Who knows? Maybe their offense isn't as good as it is on paper. But there are so many unknowns in this game that you can't really make a prediction yet.
Yeah.
And there is one trend that I have noticed. In the 2 slow starts that I've seen from their offense in the first half, which was Penn State and Michigan, you could not call the Michigan. You could say Michigan wasn't a slow start in the first half, but I would kind of say it was for offense. Julian Sain got out of a slump by just throwing a bomb to in Penn State it was Carnell, and then against Michigan it was obviously Jeremiah Smith, and
with the caveat that he fumbled that ball through the end zone and it wasn't
crossed the
called.
plane before he dropped the football. Anyway, it's fine.
Was
It's
marginal.
It's not our job.
Yeah.
He scored, whatever. They get out of a slump by just throwing a bomb. So you know it's going to come at some point. Even if Indiana holds them, to some 10 points in the first half, 2 touchdowns in the first half, whatever they hold them to, if they can, they're going to start airing that ball out. And it could get ugly pretty quick, especially with the lapses and the weekly bomb that is allowed by the Indiana defense.
We talk about there's Colin McMahon.
Oh,
no, no.
Oh my god.
And they were roommates.
And they were roommates.
That's some.
You look at Ohio State, and some of the we talk about how great this offense is on paper and the players that they have, but they put up 34 points on Illinois, gave up 16, 34 points on Wisconsin, 34 on Purdue, 48 on UCLA. Indiana put 63 up on Illinois, put 56 up on Purdue, put 31 up on Wisconsin, and 55 or whatever on UCLA. So there's that. Defensively, Indiana gave up 10 points to Illinois, Ohio State 16. Gave up one more touchdown than Ohio State did to Wisconsin. Gave up 3 to Purdue, Ohio State gave up 10. And UCLA, what was it, 6 for Indiana?
Yes.
Ohio State gave up 10. So, common opponents, Indiana has the edge there and scores more points than Ohio State and gives up fewer points than Ohio State.
I'll give a shout out to Ohio State's game notes because they had a stat about the common opponents between Indiana and Ohio State, and I'm stalling while I find it. The Indiana and Ohio State's defense have allowed 50 points combined. No, excuse me, that's wrong. I spread misinformation. They each allowed 50 points to their common opponents: Purdue, Illinois, UCLA, Penn State, and Wisconsin. Indiana outscored Ohio State 233 to 188 in those games. But again, it's apples to oranges.
Right.
Because there is no transitive property in college football.
Stylistically, Indiana versus Ohio State is different than Indiana and Ohio State versus the same team.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many different ways this game could go, and that's what makes it so exciting.
I love it.
If Indiana wins this game, which I would have to say that Ohio State is the favorite because they are the best until proven otherwise. If Indiana wins this game, I mean, what conversations you have to put them in as obviously the national championship favorite. What conversations does Curt Cignetti go into if they win this game?
I think we've reached a level that we just can't think about.
Yeah. I have no answer for you in that sense.
I mean, 2 years ago they couldn't beat Purdue, and they went 3-9, and they capped off a 3-year stretch where they went 3-24 in Big Ten games. And now Curt Cignetti, through 2 years, is 17-1 in Big Ten games, 23-2 overall.
And he cares about that one a lot more than the 17.
He does. And that's the thing is that, he doesn't ever get very animated in press conferences, but you could tell. He said something about it, like them thinking about that Ohio State game every minute of every hour of every day. It's in the back of their heads. And I'd imagine it would be. Obviously, I've never lost on that big of a stage in anything in my life because I'm not talented enough to get to that stage in anything. But I'd have to imagine that all that hype going into it. You go in, you're trying to prove something, and you just fall flat on your face. And then, they put the newspaper up on the scoreboard that said, "We win, Google us," or whatever it was, and Will Howard stomps out the cigarette. And
That was tough.
You think about,
Unfortunately, it was.
as a player, you probably think about that, and it's just like eating away at you. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do everything that I can to get back to that moment and not let that happen again. And I remember I wrote about it after the Notre Dame game. It's like, okay, Indiana got to that stage, but obviously they couldn't compete yet. Aiden Fisher, though, after the game said something to the tune of, "There is no doubt in my mind that we are going to be back here next year." And that's the thing. You have to take those kinds of lumps if you want to be successful on the biggest stage. You have to learn what that kind of success looks like before you can succeed on that stage, at least as far as college football is concerned. So that's what should give Indiana fans some optimism going into this game. But also, the thing that kind of scares me is that I could argue that Ohio State is even better than they were last year. And last year they won the national championship.
I would make that argument.
They didn't just okay, yeah, they lost Jim Knowles. Okay, fine. Big deal. Bring in Matt Patricia, multiple-time Super Bowl champion, and get better.
And we have more breaking
We
news.
have
from
more
Plaskoff.
breaking news. As of 12:26 p.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd, Niko Radicic is your 2025 Back in Anderson Big Ten Kicker of the Year. Congratulations to Niko.
Congratulations.
Another award for the Indiana football team.
Another
let's
award for
look at
Indiana
these
football.
stats because Niko Radicic has been kind of one of the unsung heroes. Leads the nation in extra points made, 70 of 70. Leads the nation in field goal percentage, 13 of 13 on field goals. And leads the Big Ten in points scored at 109. Last year,
70 of 70.
Last year he
Get
was
out of
69
here.
of
he was
69.
69
He
of
was.
69. Nice. And 10 of 11 on field goals, and he scored 99 points. This year he one-upped everything. Yeah.
And
the
still
offense got
room to
better.
go.
Yeah. Ethical hoops for Niko Radicic,
Yeah.
who outscored all of Purdue on Friday by a score of 8-3.
Good job,
Nice.
Nico.
Ain't that some?
Yeah, Saturday's going to be something to bear witness to. There's no way to really describe it.
I just
I
am
have no
waiting.
adjective. I don't have a deep enough vocabulary bag to describe this game.
Cinema.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Colin McMahon has
Colin's
a picture of
back.
the plaintiff in the window, Lewis Moore.
We got to stop with the plaintiff thing.
That's a tough nickname, man.
Per Colin McMahon it is. Yeah, Saturday's going to be interesting. 8 o'clock on Fox, 8 Eastern.
Let's do the thing.
Yeah, let's do the thing, huh?
Let's dance.
So, reigning champion, you get to go first.
Oh man,
What score you got?
I have to go first. Okay. I have it in my notes.
Or should I make the reigning loser go first?
No.
Nick did
no,
get dead
no.
last. I didn't
Reigning
actually go
loser.
over.
Wow. What? Why? That's
You got
crazy.
dead last.
I did, but you know what? We don't just no, I got nothing.
Nick had 9 points
I
for
could
everybody
not-
who was wondering.
Yeah, I did not accurately predict many
I
scores this
22.
year.
I'm over here talking
They've
crazy. Like I
almost
didn't have
outscored
only
Nick in
12.
1 week.
Yeah. You know what? How far off was I? What did I say the Purdue game would be?
66-0 or
You said 69-0.
Oh, well, you know what? Okay. This time around, Ohio State, Indiana.
I guess he's going to go first.
That's fine.
Indiana has a marginally better offense based on it's hard because you look at like my favorite is expected points added per play, opponent adjusted offense and defense. You put them on a graph, and Indiana and Ohio State are right next to each other. So statistically, these teams are as evenly matched and as good at what they do as any two teams in college football. It's in Indianapolis. Ohio State fans are obviously going to travel well because it's a 3-hour drive from Columbus. I-70 sucks, though. I-70 sucks. Ryan Day is 6-0 against Indiana in his career, and Julian Sayin is the most efficient quarterback ever in college football. Give me Ohio State 28-17 over Indiana.
Before anyone else gives a score, we have more breaking news. from
More
Plaskoff.
breaking news as of 12:29 p.m. on December 3rd,
I think we've
2025.
established it's December 3rd.
All Big Ten special teams. Niko Radicic, first teamer. Mark Langston, first team All Big Ten long snapper.
Woo!
And
He's a
Jonathan
seventh-year
Brady,
senior.
a second team All Big Ten returning specialist.
That feels fair. All right, reigning champion, what's your score prediction?
Okay.
You said you had it in your notes.
I do have it in my notes.
Late audible?
What?
Late audible?
So if you're reading it, you already rip it off.
Okay. I'm going to take Indiana on this one. I'm going to say that it is I say that it's going to be Ohio State is pretty dominant through the whole game. I'm not going to lie. But it's going to come to, I think it's going
Heisman
to come
moment,
down
Mendoza.
a Heisman moment in the fourth quarter.
He's going
again.
to fabricate another Heisman moment
Again,
against
I'm
Ohio
not
State.
saying-
Arsonist firefighter
firefighter,
for Mendoza.
I'm not saying it'll be another 2-minute like it was at Penn State because I think that's just not common. But
happen against Ohio State either.
but I think in the fourth quarter there will be some moment and it will solidify the game for Indiana. I'm gonna go 21-14, Indiana.
That low scoring.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
All right, Senior Plaskoff.
All right. I think everybody said what has needed to be said, and that these teams are extremely well matched, and that this game has the magnitude of one of the biggest games ever.
Of maybe a 6-0 earthquake.
Yeah.
On Richter scale.
I do think that the experience of Ohio State in big games will come into play. And I think that will be especially relevant late in the game as it goes on. And I will take the Buckeyes 27-23 over Indiana in a hard-fought close game.
It's a disgusting number.
So they kick 3 field goals?
Yeah, I think it's a 23.
24. Fine.
Okay, there
I'll
you
make
go.
you guys happy.
23.
24.
27-24.
I mean, you do whatever you want, but
27-24.
How would you even get
I
to
was
20?
peer pressured into the 24. If it's 23, I'm going to be really mad.
Well, then go with
24.
23.
Nope, 24.
You're your own man.
24.
All right.
No, be your own man. What do you want to do?
27-24.
All right.
Higher chance of scoring points here.
I was going to say, how would you score 23? A couple of 2 points?
I
Just
just intricate ball
14
knowledge,
plus 3 field goals.
which is entirely possible.
Yeah.
Except Kurt Signety's probably not going to kick field goals.
They don't settle for field goals very often.
Anyways,
Yeah.
27-24.
Well, they do in the first half. Anyways.
Ohio State. Ohio State.
All right. So it's-
UHHIIAUHH.
So it's 2 to Ohio State, 1 to Indiana. So I'm gonna play for the people here. I'm gonna say Indiana. I don't want another scathing text from my mother or Plaskoff's mother. Actually, now your mom's gonna be mad at you.
My brother went to Ohio State, so my mom's like, it's a win-win. It's not a win-win,
And
but
how
it's a
many-
win-win.
How many times did your brother see Ohio State beat Michigan?
0 times.
0. Ouch.
Anyways, I'm gonna take Indiana. I'm for the people here. Oh, what's the score gonna be? Jeez,
We haven't had a
couldn't even
high
tell
scoring
you.
prediction yet.
I don't think it's
'Cause
gonna
I
be high
don't think it'll
scoring.
be a
though.
high-scoring
There's just no
game.
chance. Well,
That's exactly why it's going to be high scoring.
all right.
It's
because
going to
none
be
of us think so.
64 to
You're
52.
arguing with the person who got it nailed on the head.
Welcome
last
back,
week.
Pac-12.
Dun, dun.
And
Wow,
you
that's crazy.
came in last.
Hey, you know what? We start from 0.
Wait, it's a clean
Brand new,
slate.
brand new season.
It is a clean slate. All right, I'm gonna take Indiana. I'm gonna go 24 to 21. That's
Nico
what I'm gonna
Radicic
go with.
game-winning
I
field
like
goal?
that.
I'm gonna go 24-21.
Radicic
Indiana.
game-winning
All right.
field goal?
Sure, why not?
It could be anything. Either team could win by 30. It could be a 1-point game. It could be walk. It could be anything.
8 overtimes?
And it will be, in the words of
Please,
Fernando
honestly,
Mendoza,
please.
it will be fantastic.
Fantastic.
What a fantastic opportunity.
What a fantastic episode this was for the Hoosier Network. Across from me, giving the eyebrows, Nick Rodecap, and next to him, the reigning champion, Ava Wegenke. Next to me, the Rook, Ian Plaskoff, and I'm William Stewart for the Hoosier Network. Make sure to follow along with all of us for all your updates on Indiana football. We have
Breaking news,
don't
Kurt
we?
Signetti wins Big Ten Coach of the Year again. Sorry.
Again.
The
Second in a
offense didn't
row.
come out, but the coach of the
As
year just
of
came
right
out?
now, on 12/34 on December 3rd.
I almost feel like I should stall another 10 minutes so we can get the
Kurt
offense in
Signetti,
here.
back-to-back Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Well, there you go.
Fork
in the
found in
middle
kitchen.
of the sign out. Sign off. Sign out. Sign off. Whatever you want to call it. Again, make sure to follow along with all of us for all your updates on Indiana football, even when they happen live on the podcast. Make sure to follow along with the Hoosier Network for all your Indiana athletics updates and needs. 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, Indiana, Ohio State. Be sure to watch, and we will see you all next week.
Or tune in on 99.1 WIUX, your home for Hoosier Sports.
And we'll see you all next week.